Hi, guys. We have a very special show today. Hi, Ocean. How are you?
Hi, I'm Will. How are you?
Good. I am very excited to begin the conversation for today. So we're at episode 41, Remote Healing, and we're featuring a special guest, Reiki Healer, Michelle Rossfeld. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited.
Me too. So today we're going to be talking about remote healing. And part of the reason I wanted to bring you up was because I know you have a powerful story to share, like ridiculously powerful. I wasn't aware what your story was before I started talking to you a few minutes ago. To say that your story is powerful, I think is now an understatement. Do you want to begin with who you are, what you do?
Are you speaking to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
I'm
was
so sorry.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Um,
I was asking if you wanted to begin sharing about who you are and what you do.
okay. Yeah, definitely. I do apologize. I'm living with if you hear voices in the background, I'm living with a family, which I will get into in a second. But um, to what I've been doing, I'm a Reiki Master Healer. I have about 7 certifications in different modalities of energy healing. I've been doing that since 2016. That's when I started really diving deep in my real first spiritual awakening after my dark night of the soul. And I've been helping people pretty much all my life. It like really started like with animals when I was a child. Then it became so many different things, and then I became a personal trainer and was helping people to get healthy. And yeah, and I just, it's definitely my calling. I know my soul purpose. I know that I am supposed to be helping people. Now, on what ends, it seems to be like moving higher and higher and higher, So, like, my energy is just exploding, and the capabilities and the knowledge that has been coming to me, especially in these last 5 days. I hope we get to talk about that too.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about everything, like literally everything, the things that you shared with me slightly before we came on live,
Yeah,
and just kind of maybe we can begin with how you and I know each other because we don't, it's
we
only
don't.
been a few days, right?
Yeah, it's only been since the 11th when I joined your fire ceremony, so of this month. But actually, I commented. You came up on my for you page on TikTok,
Oh.
and I I was listening, and I'm like, and then I went and listened to it again. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to reach out to her. I wanted to know more about the chakras and that we don't need them, and it keeps us anchored here. That really blew my mind because actually, I had a quantum healing session with somebody 2 years ago. She
Mhm.
said the exact same thing, and I thought she was just crazy. Like, what? These are like mine. Like, I am so very connected to my chakras. Like, this is part of what I do,
Right.
is help people align, balance, clear. I also clear auras, clean them up, get all the rips and tears out of them, get things that are dark that are around them. So I dabble in a lot of different things. But man, you like blew my mind. I was like, and I listened to that video so many times because I wanted to understand. And then you actually used my comment as a video, which is out, and I'm like, wow, okay, cool. And then I just went to your website and I signed up for your 11/11 ceremony. And I just wanted to see how everything did, what you were about. I went on to um, you know, your website, and you're like, and this is an amazing woman. Let's just get to know her, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Honestly, I feel like I only decided to kind of push on TikTok for a few days just to interact with you. If I'm gonna be
yeah,
really honest, because I was in the middle of like an anxiety week. I was going
Yeah, I
to say
saw. Yeah, I
again.
saw your video on. You were saying that's the video about the chakras. You're like, okay, I'm not going to look at the screen. I have a little bit of anxiety. Yeah, that is the video.
Yeah,
That's the one that I
yeah.
have.
I mean, I was on the verge of tears, and my guide was saying, "You have to do this." And he was like, "Tell them you're anxious, whatever you need to do. Don't look at the screen. You have to do this." And so I did it. And I remember one of the first comments that came in was yours. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you are just the sweetest energy. It's lovely." And that's why I had used yours as a response. And, after we've had that interaction, I mean, I haven't posted anything else. I'm like, okay, I'm done with TikTok. I don't really like social media.
Yeah.
I like to just do my work and live my life. But that day, right before the fire ceremony, like literally maybe 10 minutes before,
Hmm.
I wasn't following you because I don't really follow anyone on TikTok. Again, I
Right.
just go there, like I was telling you, to melt my mind. If I'm too stressed with work, I go there to feel normal, right? Just look at funny things, weird things, and then I'm done. I go to bed.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I came across your video, and the moment I saw your face, I was like, "Oh my god, how are you still alive? They tried to kill you." And then I started to listen and what you had been through.
Wow.
I only knew from that one video, and then I looked at your screen name because I wanted to make sure that I came back to see what was going on, if maybe I could help, my community could help, something, right? Because it was a video where you were being kicked out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god," and then they're treating you like this, like you almost died, and then you gotta deal with this. And then I had to start the fire ceremony.
Right.
And when I saw your name had popped up, I was like, "Okay, nope. If she comments again, if I see it again, um, I'm gonna work on her instead. There's no more number wars, I'm gonna work on her." So
Oh yeah.
from that point, what has your experience been? Like, what did you experience when I worked on you? Because you're a Reiki master. Yeah, I know you have a very
Not
high
anymore.
capacity. I know. I'm so sorry. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Not anymore. So, you want me to talk about what my experience was during the time that you were doing that?
Yeah.
Definitely. Tingling and vibration, a lot of energy flowing through me. It was absolutely beautiful. Then I felt very relaxed and very comfortable. My pain gone, all of it, because I have a lot of pain in my body. Like I'm still recovering. It's been about just 4 weeks actually. Um, but I'm still in a half cast, and my ribs were broken, and I've had a concussion. My headache is finally gone, and actually, when you did that, it's gone completely now. Now, I was doing some Reiki healing on myself during this time, and it would just pop in back in. But like literally, I had a headache. I couldn't be in light. That concussion really just jammed me up. But all my pain left. Like you did work on my foot a little bit because there's stuff going on in there, and that pain is gone. Now, just being older, I am 53. I'm going to be 54 soon. I do have aches and pains, right? So I've been doing some healing, which is going to be, it's different. It's different now. Just saying, Emmy, it is already different. Um, but yeah, you did mention to me that I'm going to have some kind of spiritual flu. So I felt good the rest of the night. Went to sleep very early. Slept 11 hours, which is not me. I'm a 4 to 6 hour person. 11 hours I slept. The next day, was not feeling well. I was so sick. I felt like I fluish. I'm like, okay, yes, this is a spiritual flu. I understand what's going on because I've been through that before. All day, I couldn't keep down food. Um, and and then later on in that, I did some healing on myself, only like 1 minute on each, because I could feel that, which will bring me to this. I can feel that running through every part of my body, and it was swirling around me like this. Okay,
Mhm.
it was so powerful. it literally would knock me down. So I couldn't really, how do I say this, control anything, and I still cannot really. But I was aloof. I was like way up here, and I felt good though. I didn't have no pain at all, right? But here's some other things. I cannot see or feel or hear my Reiki symbols or my ascended masters that are to my Reiki, that are to me. Like they're no longer in my life. Um, Also, my guides. Now, I don't know why that happened, but right now I have no, or they could be there, but I have no connection to them, right? So right now, my only connection is universe. That is it. It's like I have this, it might sound a little far-fetched, but I have this connection, but it's not a complete connection because I don't know how to work it very well right this second. Um, but I'm no longer connected to anything that I was connected to. And the other thing, I know that you did not get rid of my chakras, but maybe it did happen because you didn't mention it to me. But I no longer can feel my chakras. None of them. My main ones, okay, and some of my outer ones, they're not there. So I had one of my students, because I'm also a teacher, I had one of my students scan me for my chakras. She said that she couldn't see them. I'm like, okay. So yeah, you're pretty powerful too. I don't know if you knew that you got rid of my chakras, but maybe you can just like chime in at any time to see if they're there because I can't feel them anymore. And I don't know why. So I've had really good days since this. Like I have no pain. I mean some aches and pains, right? But that's really it. Now the next day it finally settled. So now it's not swirling anymore. It's just more like in it's a circle, like an aura, right?
Yeah.
And it's literally coming through my head into my pineal glands. Now, let me try to explain that. Now, a lot of people think that, and this is my opinion, of course, a lot of people think that your pineal gland is connected to your third eye. I think it influences it, but I don't think that they are the same because I cannot feel my third eye no more. It's no longer there. Like, I mean, it's not like I'm not connected anymore.
Yeah.
But the energy that was coming through, and you're gonna trip about what colors they are, was going right straight to my pineal gland and then into my body. So literally through my head, into my pineal glands, into my body, into my fascia, into my bones, into my muscles. It was crazy, and the way that feels, I've never felt anything like that before. It's really amazing. It really is. Um, the colors that I'm seeing, um, is white and blue. Now they're transparent. Now at first they were intertwined in a circle, but now they're just rays of beautiful softness and
Mhm.
so calming. But it's blue, and I've never had blue. So I'm just, I have many questions, obviously. but
So I mean, I definitely can explain more what I did, and I think you of, you know, all this history you have with energetic work, you would be able to very deeply understand it. Before I answer you, I do want to take a moment. Ocean, is there anything you want to um share with Michelle? Ocean is one of my certified students. So she can absolutely also explain what I did and what you were experiencing. I would love to hear your point of view with everything that Michelle has shared so far, Ocean.
Whoa. First of all I can say is, whoa. I'm taking everything in. I'm honored to be here. I feel like it's just an honor to bear witness to all of this. And before we go any further, I am a clarity oriented person as much as possible. So, for those who are just joining us, who might be looking at the title, Remote Healing featuring special guest Reiki Healer Michelle Rossfeld, During the conversation that you and Emmy were just having, you just kind of explained that you're no longer a Reiki healer. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's only because,
I
well,
didn't know the title's going
maybe,
to change to
Emmy,
full
maybe
Reiki
you
healer.
want to explain because, through the remote healing that we did on 11/11 porthole fire ceremony, um, she told me that she got rid of my symbols, all of my symbols, all of them, even including my master symbol, and also, and she did. I don't know if you did say this, but my ancestors too. I'm no longer connected to my Reiki ancestors anymore,
Mm.
any of them, and I have, as I mentioned, I think I have 5 certifications in different Reiki modalities, but I'm not connected to them. So I would not consider myself a Reiki master from here on in. I would consider myself probably an energy healer,
Oh,
more or
wow.
less. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. You basically went back to your point of growth, that space where the heart, the mind, the soul come together in a space of merger for an individuated experience.
yeah,
So it's a very difficult topic for me to talk about because I always want to be mindful of offending, hurting, or somehow uh, making someone feel degraded by the information that I'm about to share about
uh,
Reiki is a draconian system. It's a system that was allowed to proliferate as a controlled opposition. The problem is not the Reiki practitioners. You have a beautiful energy. You, part of your destiny is to help many, many people heal. Now, they took advantage of that desire and that lack of knowing what true capability is. They use chakras, they use the symbols to keep you intertwined with handlers. Those are your Reiki ancestors. They are the handlers. The moment I entered into your field, my energy, the work that I do, it supersedes any other system on this earth. And I hope that doesn't come off as ego because I know I'm here in service. I'm not here to elevate myself, but that's just the truth of what I know it to be. Um, the work that I do, it activates or it utilizes an energetic structure that I have not found anyone else to know or remember. It is a structure that I have the capacity to activate. And it's like a toroidal activator, a toroidal field amplifier. That's why you felt it swirling around you. And then there was this tube. And as you began to recalibrate your field, and it took several days because of all the distortions created by the Reiki,
yeah,
that's a backdoor program. They whenever you run it, you're only using harmonic universe one frequencies, but you're capable of harnessing frequencies outside of the time space matrix. And so what ends up happening, you're surging all of this frequency to help. They're feeding on that, harvesting that, and they leave you with the bare minimum 1 to 3 dimensional levels. The reason you felt the way you did when I began working on you is my system, even someone who is a very, very new person that's never done any energy work, by the time I'm done teaching them the first few lessons, they will be harnessing 12th dimensional frequency or higher. Because I'm aware of the type of soul and capacity you have, I pulled energy from outside of this matrix. We went beyond 15D. Anything beyond 15D, the Rishik self gets activated again. And the Rishik self was like, nope, take off all the symbols. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, come on, let's clean up, clean up. And I
yep,
was like, I hope this doesn't offend you because I know a lot of people spend so much to get as high as they do in the Reiki stuff. And, I feel badly because then it's like, did I just completely waste the investment? And it's like, no, as I was telling you, you can still use what you've learned about energy and pathways, but you're going to be running a different system, a different
right,
set of frequencies. That's why you're able to do more, but you don't quite know how to use it yet.
right. That's
Yeah,
that's exactly true. I'm not
yeah,
offended. You know what? I mean, people who are, and I'm a pretty blunt person. I'm a Pisces, so um, you all are
we are, and we're blunt.
Mhm.
really. Um, to be honest, if they're offended by, I'm not offended that you. By the way, I actually want to thank you because that actually helps me to help other people.
Yes.
And that's what I'm here for. So if someone is offended or is upset that you took their stuff away, then they're not ready to move upward. Does that make sense? They're not
It does.
ready. They're still in that ego, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm not offended at all. But I do have a void, and it's only because, and I do want to express this. I have it's not a void, it's a longing. No, it's um, because I shared that for the last since 2016, right? So
Mhm.
like now it's gone, and I can feel that. Like it's a little bit of a sadness, but it's not anything that I would like want to take back. Okay, it's just like I have to deal with that sadness because
Mhm.
that was my connection. I had a very, very deep connection to my ancestors, and they have helped me, and I have done some amazing things with the Reiki. So I am like blown away that if there's something that's higher than that, I'm like, heck yeah. You know how many people I can help? Do you
Yes.
know how many people I can help? My gosh, this is going to be amazing. You know?
Yes. Yes. I mean, honestly, I have had situations where I have assisted people, primarily relatives, but it's this thing of medically documented, unexplainable, miraculous, messianic type level of healing. They can't explain it. Like, and I'm not about to explain it because I'm not going to get kidnapped and took somewhere.
Right?
you know so it's really this thing of humanity is very much positioned to be ready to begin receiving once again that reconnection to divinity. You had mentioned something about your hand, and what you think is happening with your process with your hand.
Yeah.
Do you
I
want to
think
share
that,
that?
oh, yeah, definitely. I have no pain in any of the places that was hurt, injured in my car accident. And my hand, I still had pain. I couldn't, I'm in a half cast because it was so swollen that they had to put me in a half cast, and then they are recommending me to go to a surgeon. Um, but I really think it's already done. I think it's healed. I think it's because I can feel it. And I am connected to my body, so I know, like I'm really connected to my body, and I know what to give myself. I know how I feel. Um, I want to take my cast off. Like really, I don't want to wait for the surgeon to look at it because I can actually wiggle my fingers without any pain. I can move them around my hand because it's my wrist, my hand, and my two fingers that were broke. So um, like I have no pain there. I'm like, it's amazing. I'm still amazed. Like every day I wake up, I'm just like, my gosh, this is just an amazing experience. I'm so happy that I came across your video every day. I thank the universe. Thank you for putting you in my life since I've met
Oh,
you because, like, this is not the end of this. This is just another beginning. You know.
yes, absolutely. And here's the thing, you were talking about the void that you feel is left behind. I think that's an accurate term to use because
Okay.
it occupied so much of your life, so much of your
Right.
identity and your purpose. And when that gets pulled out, it's like what happens when you are in a very toxic type of relationship and the person who is maltreating you is taken away, and you don't quite know who you are. Like, what do I do with life now? I know I didn't deserve that, but like what do I do now? Like, what is the world going to do to me? If that was love, what about the strangers who don't care? What will they do? And it's this thing of finding the courage to rediscover what your truth is once that distortion is removed. Now, again,
Yeah.
I want to emphasize to those who are listening, because I know quite a few people have done, Reiki workshops and, have gone pretty far in that. You are not an issue. You are not an issue. What happened was your desire to help, your this really just unquenchable desire to help and heal people is that was taken advantage of. The Reiki practitioners are not the issue. Those are people who want to help. It's the Reiki system itself. That's what it was designed to do. So with your chakras, as soon as I began running the frequency through you, it's like your chakras spun so fast that they began to reintegrate themselves. So that's why they can't see your chakras. They're reintegrated. Now, if you're going to have any type of elevations in struggles with specific things that specific chakras govern, like for example, the sacral chakra, you're having a struggle with maybe family connections, something like that, in order to help you, that sacral chakra will pop back out to kind of constrict, restrict some of the flow of that frequency from the sacral chakra so you don't feel so overwhelmed. And then once you begin to stabilize, it'll get sucked back in. So it's a very self-regulating thing. What was done to the planetary grid was they created enough suffering and struggle to cause all the chakras, the lower chakras, to pop out. And then they rammed the rod through so they couldn't go back in. So they were stuck out. And
Right.
that was to constrict the flow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a question. The reason why we we know each other now is because of the video that you did on your chakras and saying that we don't need them. Do we ever need them? I mean, can I get totally rid of them? Do I really need them? Can you explain? I think I'm interested in knowing more about why we don't need them. I mean, I kind of know because you did explain very well that it just anchors us to this
Yeah.
3D, right?
Yeah.
And but are they harmful? I mean, no, that's not the right word. I don't know what to put it. I don't know what to put there, but does it keep us from not ascending?
No, not when they're allowed to function in the way they're designed to originally. So most people have become so distorted through molecular compaction, through karmic bleed over, all of these different things that happen through the multiple lifetimes that pretty much everyone has lived. And that's created so much distortion in our perception, so many phobias and things that maybe we're not even aware of. So the chakras, they will help to kind of regulate the amount of frequency so that you don't get overwhelmed. But when you've lived so many generations where you haven't tapped into your personal power, it's kind of like, what do you do with that? I was watching a video early this morning and it was a man, I forget who he is. He was talking to Joe Rogan and he had gone to some African tribe and he wanted to go hunting for baboons with them. I guess this is the preferred meat of the tribe, and he was talking about like they had been running nonstop in the African heat and sun for about 5 hours. And none of these tribal men have any sweat. They took one scoop of water from some hole they dug, like in their hand, and they were good for the whole trip. While he's like downing water bottles, he's sweating. And I was cracking up because the the translator, he had a translator with him, told him that the one of the tribal men said like, I don't think he's going to be able to hunt anything. And in the comments, this is what really just kind of threw me for a loop. They start talking about how the reason humans became an apex predator was our ability to outrun and out survive our predators. Like once upon a time, we had the stamina and the strength to keep going, whereas the predators, they're just these short bursts of energy to capture their prey, right? And it's this thing of we haven't existed like that for so long that it will take a very, very, very long time to get back to that space of knowing what that's like. You're a personal trainer, so I'm sure if I put it in these terms, you'd be able to just boom like that, understand it. It's like the difference between someone who's been athletic their entire life and then having a year, 2 years of sedentary life and going back to the gym. Muscle memory, they remember, they'll pop right back into place. Muscles will be good. It won't take long for them to get back to their like baseline, right? Their previous baseline. Compare that with someone who's been sedentary all the way up till maybe 70 years old, and now they want to become a power lifter. Honey, that's going to take a long time. you know? Yeah, to train the mental, to train the muscles, to train in a way that makes everything align. So it's like that. Most people need the chakras. They're dependent on their energy, their power being constricted. And you see this within social structures because it's like you look in America, in the United States, we have stoplights everywhere, right? They're like, oh my God, we will cease to exist without stoplights. You look at other countries and there's far less accidents and it's just a roundabout. Why? Because you let people be held accountable for their decisions and they will time it just right for the environment that they're in. No one wants to actually be hurt or harmed. And that's the thing. We've been so programmed by societies, by cultures, by religion, even by spirituality to accept our slavery,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So when
Um,
you get ready, when you get to that point where you're ready to really step into your full divinity, like you were, I knew you were. That's why I was like, all right, we'll suck the chakras in too. She can handle it. She might have a little bit of dark night, a couple days.
yeah,
She's good.
yeah,
But I knew you were right there. You were at the cusp. And I knew that's why you were asking too. That's why
yeah,
it resonated so deeply with you because you were already feeling that there's something more to what you're going through than
yeah.
your understanding, right? And it was just a simple video of, hey guys, did you know? And
Right.
I was totally just like, no one's going to care about this. And I just did it anyways. And for you, it was this validation of something
Yeah.
you couldn't quite, yeah,
It opened everything for me.
yeah,
Really, just one video.
yeah,
That was amazing for me. It really was.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when someone has their chakras reintegrated, that's something that's self regulating. And, the chakras are necessary, but not popped out in the way most people have it. Yeah. Yeah. So they don't need to be fully removed. They're the bridge between the morphogenetic template and the fascia within the body. So that's how you anchor into your physical body. A lot of things will try and utilize unhealthy chakras to further drain your energy, create more distortions. So while you have chakras, it's absolutely important to continue to maintain them. It's very, very important. But I mean, once you no longer need them, you don't need them anymore. You don't need them popped out. You don't need them constricting the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ocean, do you have any questions for Michelle?
It's something because I was just over here like, wow, that's such. I do have questions for you, Michelle. I definitely do. But the analogy between the chakras and the roundabouts in an urban design, that's something that is taught. It helps with the directionality, it helps with the flow of traffic. And so you're talking about the chakras, and that's such an analogy. I'm sorry, guys. I like urban planning. I like geeky stuff like that. I like policy and all of that stuff, whatever. But the ironic part about it is that's exactly why they're there. That's exactly why they're designed. And you're talking about the chakras, so I think that's so interesting. All right. So, Michelle, yes, I have lots of questions. I want to go back to basics. I want to go back to basics because I was actually there during that um, the ceremony and the expedite event that night. So I saw it. I was there when she said, like, if she saw Michelle coming again, then she would work on Michelle. I was there. But a lot of people that are here right now may not have been there, right? So I always like to kind of start with the basics and start to really help everyone to get on the same page about what we're talking about because that's great. That's like really, I don't think that a lot of us can really understand the magnitude of what we're talking about unless we know more about what happened. So I want to ask you because when she said if Michelle comments again, I was like, I'm not familiar with that name. But Michelle, can you tell us what was going on with you? Like, if you, as much as you're comfortable with, sharing the diagnoses or the symptoms of your experiences, where you were as far as the hospital, like any of that, any events that took place to cause any physical symptoms or any conditions. Can you give us some background of what was going on with you? We have a bit of an idea of how you two encountered one another, which is it's a story in it within itself. But what was going on with you? What happened?
So on October 14th, I was in a car accident. I was hit by a truck, and I have an SUV. It literally smashed. It's totaled. So, and I literally was supposed to die in that. If you would see that vehicle, which I just saw like a couple days ago, I had to get some stuff out of there, but um, literally it was smashed, and I blacked out and came to, and people were pounding on my door because my car started to smoke, and they wanted to get me out of there, and I'm literally in the middle, like literally, because it's literally like 4 lanes on all 4 stops. So it's a very big intersection. So I'm like right in the middle. Everything is everywhere. So the airbag went off and it was up against me. And I'm small, so I'm shorter, so I'm closer to the steering wheel. So I couldn't get around the airbag, and my seatbelt was on as well. So they were trying to get me off, trying to get the door open. Everything was just smashed. They were just everybody. There was 4 people trying to get that door open, and then 2 people took me out. They literally lifted me up and put me out. Um, Went by ambulance to the hospital. Um, that was in itself not a very good experience. 11 days in the hospital. So I had broken ribs on both sides and in the back. Broke my hand, fingers, wrist. Um, Also, a very bad concussion. Something wrong with both of my legs, especially my left, but then my right foot as well. And I spent 11 days there, and it was absolutely just a horrible experience for me. Remember, there is something that a lot of people don't know, and I'm definitely not shy about talking about it. I did a lifestyle change. I started living in my SUV in January of 2022, January 1st. I set a goal to get on the road and help people heal, and also travel, experience spiritual things, places that I've never experienced. And so I was doing DoorDash, Reiki, and then sleeping in my SUV. Um, and living, and I absolutely loved it. I really do love it. But so the car accident took everything away from me. Like literally, I don't have a car to drive. I don't have work to do, because the Reiki is part time for me, and I don't have a place to live. So it literally took everything away. Um, the hospital was horrible. The doctors were horrible. The nurses. I mean, there was a couple nurses that were nice, but they were not giving me my medication. We're just talking minimal Tylenol. They, I didn't take a shower for like 5 days. They wouldn't give me a shower. It was just, you know, I actually talk about it in my videos, and that's really unusual for me because I don't share that personal life with me. So I'm like, you know what? Well, actually, I was told to. So, and I think this is part of all this. Um, I'm like, I don't really want to. Like, that's really vulnerable stuff for me. But I got on there, even looking like crap because I didn't take a shot. I know my first video is my hair is like yucky, and I just got on there and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna tell you my story. And I need help. So they finally um they were going to put me into a rehabilitation. Well, I'm from Michigan, so my insurance is in Michigan. It wouldn't take care of it. So they were going to put me in a nursing home, a rehabilitation nursing home, right? Well, um, there's so much to this. I don't even know. I want to take so much time talking about it, but um, I got denied. So they denied me, and then they let me go.
Mm.
Literally, I couldn't walk. I hobbled um, out of the hospital with everything. And the thing is, they would. I didn't. I only had shorts on. They literally in the emergency room. They actually cut everything because I was having so much pain in my chest. So I didn't have a bra or a shirt or anything, right? So they said, "Oh well, you can just wear the the scrub things that they give you." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna go outside with those scrub things. People are gonna think I
Mm.
escaped from a insane asylum or something." you know.
Yeah.
Um, so a nurse found me a pair of pants and a shirt to leave in. I'm like, okay. So and I don't have any socks on. Hobbling out. I don't know how I got to the gas station to get a ticket. It was not that far, but like when you don't have really your legs numb and you're just trying to, I don't know where I got all the strength to do all this. Like there was definitely divinity that's going on there, and it has been since. Like really, there has been, and I asked for help, and I actually reached out because I needed a place to stay, and then somebody said, I have a room, you know, and they live in Arizona, not too far, and now that's where I'm staying. And then I came across her. I'm still a little bit like, about that. Because, like, that, I don't believe in coincidences. I never have. There's definitely a reason. Obviously, this is all of the reason that you and I have come into each other's lives. Um, and then I did your fire ceremony. So, I have a lot of pain. Headache, very bad, very sensitive to light, a lot of, you know, everything's broken. um,
Yeah.
I went and purchased the fire ceremony after her. Sorry, I'm getting a little confused here. So I purchased the fire ceremony after we talked about the chakra thing, because I'm like, I need to know her. I need to. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Because I don't have a large amount of money. Everything has gone into my just everything else. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do it. And then this happened, and then she brought me on, and she's like, did the healing. You know, all of that pain left. I felt really good, like high kind of too. By the way, I think that's the sedative that you give, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt really good. All the pain's gone. And then the next day, I woke up and I was sick. It was like, well, actually, that night I got 11 hours of sleep. I was like, wow, I must have really. Go ahead.
Okay. Wow. I don't want to cut you off. But I think there's some things that kind of need to be emphasized,
Okay.
especially for those who are not familiar. You said you came to the session, and you mean virtually because it's held virtually, right? It's a live stream. So you were assisted remotely,
Yeah.
right? You got
Yeah.
11 hours of sleep, right?
This is after that, though.
After that, you got 11 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Before that, before you even came to the ceremony, you had been in the hospital for how many days?
11 days. Well, no, it's been so it was a week after. So I was in the hospital for 11 days, and then a week later, I came across Emmy's thing. Within a week, it was like 5 days after I got out of the hospital.
Okay. So that 11 is sticking out to me. So that
Um,
11 days, that experience,
yeah.
the ceremony. 11
11, 11. Yep.
Yeah.
sleep after that, 11 hours. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I didn't even notice it
You
either.
also year 22,
Oh,
2022.
and I'm gonna blow your mind because guess what? My life path number is 22. Then when you go move it down, it's 11.
Deep,
Yeah.
deep. So you were able, okay, Emmy, I know that you all talked about, and I'm coming back to you, Michelle, like, woo,
No, it's
woo,
fine.
woo, woo.
No,
So,
it's fine. I have
yeah,
time to whatever. Yeah.
okay. So, Emmy, when you talk about assisting her remotely, remote healing, what is remote healing? And you're both experienced energetic healers. So, I would like to know both of your interpretations of the word or the term remote healing. And I would like to know, Michelle, if any of your perceptions of remote healing changed after that, if they're about the same, like what was your experience? So, Emmy, what is your interpretation of remote healing?
Being able to remotely access a person's bioenergetic field without having ever seen them, spoken to them, been in the same room with them, just having the ability to fractionate your consciousness through bilocation, access their bioenergetic field, create the necessary modulations to frequency that the body and the energy can begin to return back to a state of energetic homeostasis.
Hmm.
That's remote healing to me.
Okay. And now the K33CP,
Mhm.
that program is all about remote healing.
Yes.
What is that? Okay.
Yeah.
And if I were, I know this probably is going to annoy you, but I love you in advance. If I were a third grader, how would you explain what you just said to me? If I were a third grader.
So, remote healing is when you let God use your hands to do what you need to do to help someone else to return them back to God.
Mm. And you use your hands, but you don't have to be there in person, right?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Same questions for you. What is your interpretation of remote healing? And in your own words, and then also if it differs from how you would tell a third grader, can you also explain to me as a third grader after you give your first interpretation or your first translation or what have you?
Yeah. I don't have big words like Emmy does, so I do actually try to make things simplified for people. I call it distant healing, which is same thing as remote. And it is a life force energy. I believe in universe. I believe in source, and it's exactly what she said. It literally comes into you. Now, before, I don't know about now, so it's going to be a little different now. But for
Hmm.
me, it would come through me. It would go through my meridians and my chakras into my heart, into my hands, and our hands is where it is. This
Hmm.
is where we heal from, is from our hands. And you know, anybody that have had any healing from Emmy, they know that if you see her, because I've watched her, right? It's all through her hands. It's nothing but
Hmm.
our hands. And it literally helps people to remember. It unblocks. It gets them closer to universe. It helps them on and also on a physical level, right? Like I've had, and well, just look at me right now. What she just did in just a small time. It was like what 20 minutes or something.
Hmm.
It was less. I don't know, but I mean, and my pain's gone. So on a physical level, it's not just emotional. It's all levels, you know. And the physical, like I've had experiences with people. I deal with mostly trauma-based things
Hmm.
um, and childhood stuff. I do childhood remission, and where we go back to the childhood and try to recreate the situation where so it's going to be more positive so they can help heal that.
Hmm.
I also just, you know, I deal with just a lot of, I, I'm not a psychologist, but I've been in therapy since I was 17. And I also minored in psychology as well when I went to college. So I'm actually an artist, but I was so interested in psychology that I minored in it.
Mm,
So I have a lot of experience with psychology. So yeah, same thing as her. I mean, it is everything was done. The physical part is really it just blew my mind because,
mm,
like, I don't know very many people. How can I say this? I really hate social media sometimes because there's so much really wrong stuff out there. Like they lead you down such not very good places, right? And I try to speak my truth all the time. And it upsets me that people are being led down really bad paths, right? So when we have people like myself, like Emmy, that are there on a physical level too, right? I've never met very many people, myself, maybe one other person, maybe out of my whole entire life, that actually can do any type of physical healing. It just blows my mind. Like,
mm,
really blows my mind. Now, mine's a little bit um, not as strong, but I bet it will be really soon
Mhm.
here. But I've worked on, like, for instance, I just recently, before I went into the hospital, I worked on someone that has sciatica issue. It's gone. It's gone. And like, she's been working on that for years. The doctors can't find anything. I mean, they know it's sciatic. They can't do anything with it.
mm,
And she wasn't. We weren't expecting to do that. We were doing this for an emotional thing for her to help her with some of and unblock her chakras. Right? It just happened. Like I didn't set the intentions to help her heal her sciatica. She
yeah.
only said to me, "I have sciatica issues." I'm like, "Okay, I'll work on that last." She was down, laying down for an hour and a half. And she did a testimonial on it as well as on my stuff. But yeah, but I didn't set the intentions, and I want to know. I'm going to learn from you because, like, I think it's more powerful if you could set the intentions that you know what you're doing
Mm,
instead of kind of like, okay, I know that it's there. Let the universe flow through me. Let the source throw me, and you do it. But like, you have control in a way, right?
Yes, yes. So my system is different because what I teach my students, it's a hybridized program of what I remember from when I lived as a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Like all of this stems from um, previous lives. I've lived many, many lives as warrior, and as a warrior, you have to know human anatomy and
Oh
all
yeah.
of that to be efficient in what you're doing. So I know about that. I know about the different layers of the body. I know about the different layers of energy, the pathways that can be used. And what I teach my students is how to use all of that with your intuition and allow your intuition to guide you in how to manipulate these existing systems in order to create the change that's necessary. So it's like the difference between and I hate to say this again because I don't want to come off as pompous, but when you compare Reiki to Kokoro 33, Reiki is like trying to do a Swedish massage for a broken bone, whereas Kokoro 33, you are surgically precise. I've had situations where I have cleared clots from an aneurysm successfully. So when I say like my work is documented, it's literally medically documented. I don't share, my clients' stuff. I don't ask them for their medical um records. Quite a few of them have given it to me, and I'm kind of just like, I want you to have your privacy. To me, it's not worth it to be sharing your private medical stuff. But I've had people who I've done mitochondrial work and they were working with specialists, and the specialists were giving them, just basically maybe a couple months, a year tops, because their mitochondria had been so damaged by medications, and it's completely changed their lives. Their walking again, they're hiking, and their doctor's like, we don't know how she did this. Keep going to her. Yeah, I've had people who are referred by neurosurgeons, and I'm like, neurosurgeon, what? And this unicorn fish. Do you mind if I share? Is it okay with you if I share our experience together, our recent? You totally don't have to say yes. You could say no. And then also, Catherine, she shared. I was told I had 6 to 12 months to live 2 years ago. Emmy did unexplainable healing on me. Oh, you healed yourself as well. I helped to facilitate it, but you did the bulk of it. A lot of what I do, okay, unicorn fish says it's okay. Her daughter ended up being in the ICU. It was bad. It was definitely bad. Severe asthma attack that began to affect the cardiovascular system and specifically the heart, I believe. And I reached out to her and I asked if I could help. And what I did was I flushed the entire system. I reintegrated the water in the lungs. I went ahead and I created an energetic support for her heart. I infused that into the pericardium. Um, See, I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school to be a doctor, but I've been groomed my entire life to become a medical professional. And what I was most interested in from childhood all the way till now is cardiothoracic surgery as well as neurology. So those are things that are like super duper fascinate me. And so that's some of the stuff that, if my heart tells me to, I'll reach out and be like, can I help? It's not me soliciting sessions. I'm just like, can I please, can I please do something for this? Can I help? And it's definitely an honor to me when people allow me that level of trust, to help their child, to help their loved ones, to help. A lot of people don't realize that your body is the map to the traumas that you're holding inside you. It's the map to what you've experienced. The pain and the things you experience, that's an indication that that trauma has not yet been processed and properly resolved. So a lot of the pains, like when I'm around people who are narcissistic for a prolonged period, I'll begin to herniate my disc in my low back again. And that's because I'm bending over backwards. I'm not supporting myself in my spiritual process by speaking my truth. I'm reverting back to a space of mental toxicity for myself. So then my body will start to tell me that. Right. So when we begin to listen to ourselves, our body will tell us what we need. If we ignore it, then the body will utilize pain. What I do is identify that. And because I have no interest in condemning anyone, negatively judging people, I'm just like, oh, this is what we have to do. Let's do it. And then we're able to do it. And if the person sustains that change in their mindset, their emotions also become altered pretty much permanently, and they don't return back to that state. I have helped so many people with fibromyalgia. That's a fascia issue from chakra blowout with energetic pooling. Now, when you clear that out, if you return back to that mindset, the fibromyalgia will return back. It will return back. So there's limitations as to what we can do energetically. And the only limitation really is how willing is the person to allow for that change to be a permanent change. If they're not willing, that's going to come right back. It's going to come right back. So a lot of remote healers, we have to make sure that we don't take it upon ourselves to take ownership of what someone needs to process. Some of the most powerful things that I've done is simply hold space, actually listen, hear them, not just sympathize, but empathize. Let them know, you know what? I've lived through that too. I know what it feels like. I know what it felt like when no one understood. And I tell you right now, there's nothing you can tell me that I will not go out of my way to understand and help you to better and more deeply understand. Right? It's this thing of everyone's journey is valid. Even your distorted thoughts, distorted perceptions, it's valid. If you believe in it deep enough, you validate it. It becomes your reality. right? So my system, the Kokoro 33 system, that's what we do. We identify the blockages, the constrictions in the pathway, the imbalances in the energy, and we're able to utilize extremely high frequency to correct it. I have quite a few people who are certified at this point, and all of my certified people, I mean, they could do this work remotely. They can do profound work remotely, and they can affect your physical, affect pain, all of the stuff that you guys have seen me do in live streams. Those are basically like level 1 of my system. As you get higher in the system, you're able to do much more very, very, very delicate work, like very delicate work. I've worked with quite a few people who have had family in the ICU, and then not long after that, their family's not in the ICU. Am I gonna say I'm a healer? I don't wanna take on the liability of that term, So I'm just gonna say I facilitated what they wanted the most, which was an opportunity to self-heal. Do you guys have any questions?
As they're getting their questions ready, Emmy, I do have a question if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to know, first of all, how common is it for you to run into clients who are experienced energy healers? And how was that experience with you all? Different modalities, not necessarily limited to Reiki, but other healing modalities also.
It's actually very common, and, their usual response is exactly like Michelle's. Like, "Whoa, what in the world did you do to me?" Like, "I've never felt things running in that way, and, what was that?" And then they feel different, and it's like, "Well, that's your true power. That's
Mm,
how you're supposed to feel. I just brought you back home. That's all I did."
okay.
It's not like I don't wanna take credit for it because I understand they are simply giving me the honor of
Mhm.
having the permission to help bring them back home to center. That's it.
I like that. I like that a lot. I have some other questions for you about your professional experiences, but I'm going to deviate just a bit. Just a bit. Earlier, Michelle, you said that you don't feel the connection to your ancestors, your Reiki ancestors. Can you clarify any as far as, well, first of all, is there a difference between ancestors and Reiki ancestors? What are Reiki ancestors? And is there a difference between those two? And is she still connected to her ancestors or is she not?
Well, when it's your ancestors, like, from this lifetime, from all your previous lifetimes, you share a mitochondrial tie. So that there will forever be your ancestors. There's no one that can take that away. I can't speak much on Reiki ancestors because I'm not trained in Reiki. I think it's a better thing for Michelle to explain what a Reiki ancestor is.
Mhm.
From my very limited understanding, just because I'd be taking people's Reiki things off, and I'm just like, no, stay back. You don't want none from me. Their higher self said to take it off.
Yeah.
I've found that they're handlers.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, but again, my understanding of Reiki is very limited because I've never taken Reiki courses or anything like that.
I want to ask you that, Michelle, but I want to come back to Amy real quick because I've had people to ask um, insomnia. Do you address issues related to disturbances in sleep, Emmy, in your practice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Some of those things have to do with unintentional astral projection and disturbance to the physical body while you're out, and then you get that sleep paralysis. Oftentimes, I'll have a lot of clients with children who have sleep paralysis, night terrors, and I teach the kids how to defend themselves because they're actually it's not lucid dreams. They're being astrally projected in order to be tormented because they don't have the life experience yet to know how powerful they are. And I'm just like, no, honey, beat them up.
Mhm.
Turn on the lights and go boom, boom. They're going to be scared of you.
Yeah.
I've helped quite a few toddlers exit out of that. There's also instances where the problems that the child experiences is from karmic bleed over. You just so many different things. Yeah, I can help with sleep stuff and with children.
Okay, I have two more questions about that, specifically about your professional experience and what you do. Um, I also would like to ask about alcoholism and addiction. Do you run into any clients that come for assistance with that? Can you help? What do you do?
Yes, so various techniques can be used. It's highly contingent. The success is highly contingent on the person's actual readiness to no longer be bonded to a substance. It's a coping mechanism. So I can access the receptors that are used by the body to uptake that substance and high or whatever it is that they're using it for. And then they can't get high anymore. And so I can also induce a rapid detox. Depending on what substance they're struggling with, that can be dangerous. So they have to reassure me that they have the proper support, they have, the proper equipment at home with them to monitor their vitals. We need oxygen levels, we need your heart rate. Preferably if you have a home EKG machine, those are like about $100. It just little nodes you put, things like that. I can definitely help with that, but they have to be willing and ready. It can't be something where they're being forced into it. And if I feel like they're being forced into it or coerced or guilted, I will flat out tell them, come back to me when you're ready. It's not yet time. It's not
Okay.
yet time. Yeah.
The same goes for alcoholism. We were bunching on the same. Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. My last question for you right now, as far as this, um, when people say that they know how to balance their chakras and they know how to realign them, they know how to clear them out, and all of these things, and you're seeing what do you usually see, right? When people say that they know how to clear, balance, realign their chakras, like, and they have energetic circumstances going on, but they really feel like they know how to do this. How do you approach that as a professional, as an energetic practitioner, who, out of respect for the other energetic practitioner or somebody who, really feels like they know how to do it, how do you approach that when their feel says something else? Their energy says something else. Their circumstances say something else.
I'm very honest. I'm very, very honest. And I let them know whatever the finding is. And if they disagree, I will accept their disagreements and I will remind them this is what you paid me for.
Hmm.
If you don't want me to correct it, then I won't. But this is what I'm seeing. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I have a higher sensitivity to energy than you do. And this is what I see. But if you don't feel you want it corrected, that's okay. Like
Okay.
I'm really not interested in having people feel like I know more. It's
Right.
just, yeah, I've had a client one time who was telling me all the things that I should do. And it's like, those are all the things that I've done.
Hmm.
And they called it by a different name. And I was like, um, if you knew all of this, there was no point in you booking a parasitic extraction with me. You should have just done it for yourself. You could have saved a lot of money.
Hmm.
And at that point, that's when they realized, like, oh, because I mean, if you know all of this stuff, you should do it for yourself. I'm not interested in the profit. Like, you should empower yourself and do it for yourself. But clearly, if you're going to invest the amount that you invest in your session with me, you're not able to do it for yourself. So allow me to assist in the way I excel at assisting. And then you can go back to doing whatever you want. You can go back to maintaining your chakras. Because the way I explain it, it's not necessarily combative. It's not meant to be derogatory in any way. It's this thing of there's a situation that your normal process is not taking care of anymore. So let me take care of that so you can go back to maintaining it and you can do perfectly fine with maintenance,
Hmm.
right?
Does that happen sometimes because also in some cases we're sending And what may have worked for us yesterday may not work for us today. Does that happen also?
Yes, yes. So the reasoning behind it is very unique to each person. It's not very often that I'll have someone that's like full of ego and like trying to dictate things. I don't take well to people who do that to me. I will be blunt and be like, so then why did you pay me if you know all of it? You just do it yourself. You can save money. You
Sigma
know?
practitioners are built different, guys. Sigmas are built differently. The Sigma
Right.
practitioners.
I'm just like, it's like you can go ahead and feel superior if that makes you feel better. Has nothing to do with me, But I've only had to say that once, to be honest. I've only had to say that once, and I know it had to do with parasites.
Mhm.
It was like really messing with this person's mind. I was just like, okay, you know everything, like because now you're irritating me because
Mhm.
you're exposing me further to your parasite.
Mhm.
Right? So that's the reason I got snarky. But usually it's like, you've gone through some changes with your energy. You've evolved a little bit. You've expanded your awareness that allows for more frequency to come in. And so some of the things that you're doing, it's not enough anymore for you. So you just need a little like nudge in the right direction, then you could handle it again yourself.
Hmm. I
And
like
with
that.
my system, as you already know, the goal is not to have repeat clients. The
Mm-hmm.
goal is to address your issue that first time. And if you come back, it better be for something else, or else I didn't do the job I'm supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think that's kind of what sets me apart in my clients' eyes is that they know I'm not going to recommend something that they don't need. And if they don't need it, I'll be like, honey, you don't need this. Why'd you get this? What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? And I will tell them what would actually be necessary. Or I'll just refund them if there's nothing that needs to be done, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I think integrity and honesty is the most powerful thing you can give to a client. It's the most powerful space you can share, a very honest space.
I love it. I love it. Michelle, is there something you want to say? Because I know we may have some questions from the community. Amy, as soon as you're ready, but I would like to know, Michelle, is there something you feel to share?
I believe that everybody should be open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an issue that I have to deal with all the time. That ego. It's like everything that you're saying is just like everybody thinks they know everything. You know, I'm very highly experienced. I'm so very open to so many things.
Yeah.
I try to be as humble as possible. And I think during my session, me ascending, you come to a place where you just become more humble. That you don't allow your ego. And I'm not saying that I'm not snarky, because I am too. I mean, I will stand my ground. I will, you know, create boundaries. And for Pisces, it's very hard to like follow through on those boundaries. But I think as we start to ascend and we start not even being our Pisces person anymore, that Pisces personality anymore. It's like I'm almost feeling, I mean, I think I will always be a Pisces, but I'm almost feeling that I'm a whole nother person.
Mm.
Um, because they are like emotional, which I am. They are they live in a fantasy world, which I love too. But I'm also like I'm very logic as well.
We got
And
levels. Pisceans got levels, guys.
yeah,
Ocean. You step
they
into the
really
ocean,
do.
you there in the ocean, but that ocean got levels.
Yeah, yeah. And putting those boundaries up, I think it's very hard. You know, for I'm only saying because we're all three Pisces. It's like that's not a coincidence, right? Putting those boundaries and follow. I mean, we can set up boundaries, but following through them, that's the most important. And people do get very, very upset with those boundaries. And there's reasons, you know. They have a lot of healing to do. So yeah, the ego. I've been dealing with that with a lot. Everybody seems to think that they know everything.
Mm.
I just say thank you for I just say thank you and just move on. I don't argue with people. I'm not confrontational. Um, and that's funny that I say that because I will stick up for people as well.
Mm.
Definitely. I will many times will insert physically or what I mean by physically, if I was in front of someone or if there was something happening, I would definitely be there for support and sticking up for people. But I'm not confrontational. I don't bring drama to myself at all. So if you want to bring that, I'm like, thank you. Because I get my social media, I get a lot of stuff. I'm like, thank you for your comment. Um, we all have opinions, and I try to be humble and I try to be open, really, because if I wasn't, I would not be on. I wouldn't be
Mm,
right now.
I
You know,
like it. I like it. And we thank you so much for being here.
I thank you definitely. I am enjoying myself listening to you guys, just about everything, learning,
That's good.
knowledge, like knowledge is power. It really is.
Mm,
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
Michelle, is it
Yeah,
okay if we go ahead and share your TikTok profile? Or is
sure.
there any other social media
I
that
do have an Instagram, but I don't have a lot of people there. I have an Instagram and a TikTok. Oh, by the way, Emmy, I did share um, that I was going to be on here, but I didn't like. I had so much to do this morning. It was like really late, like about an hour before we came on with each other. But it is on in my TikTok as well. So to let
awesome.
because I have like see, almost 50,000 followers on my TikTok, right? So I'm like, okay, let's get people here. Let's get people to support here as well. People always want to know what I'm doing with everything that's going on. So I'm like, that's what I said. I was like, you want to know what I've been doing for the last 5 days? Come to YouTube because this is what you're going to see right now. And I mentioned you, and I put your link in the comments so they can come and find you on YouTube for today and subscribe. So yeah, you're definitely welcome to
Thank you so much.
thank
I'm
you
gonna go
guys.
ahead and get the link from Talk. Yeah, no, that was one of the things that stood out in my book is that usually when people have any type of following on social media, they get so full of themselves, and I'm just like, "Oh," you know? And your energy is just so full of just love, openness, gentleness, and calm that when I went to go, because I remember I saw your video and
Yeah,
I had to screenshot it so I wouldn't miss your name, and then afterwards I went back and I went to follow you, and I was like, I would have never guessed that you have that much of a social media presence because your integrity is still absolutely intact.
yeah,
Absolutely intact. It's beautiful. It's very, very beautiful.
thank you.
Like, we need more of that.
Yes,
We
we actually
definitely
do.
need more of that.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I will not sell out. So I'm gonna stand in what I believe in, and I'm not. I'm literally not gonna sell out for what they call fame, TikTok fame, or TikTok money. I mean, I know that we all have to make money. I do. I do understand that, right? But we don't have to compromise our morals and become our morals and values and our integrity to become. I don't even know. I really don't even know, to be honest. These so-called
It's hard.
yeah, these so-called spiritual people are not walking their talk.
Mm,
You know, they are not. They are more into making money, being judgmental, having drama. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going on spiritual TikTok, and that's my main social media. It seemed, I took off really well. I did have Facebook, but I deleted it a year ago because of all the spying and everything. I just,
mm.
it's horrible. So I just like, yeah, and it's gonna be closing down anyways. But yeah, integrity,
Oh,
values, and morals, so very important. And staying humble, man, I have to tell you, not very many people are humble these days. I
yeah.
wish that there's a lot more. I just find that as you start, I'm actually, if you don't mind me sharing this, I'm doing 12 stages of ascension. And the sixth stage of ascension is spiritual ego, spiritual narcissism, and spiritual materialism. And all number 1 through 5, I got so many comments and everybody's loving it. When I got to that number 6, nothing. I don't know if people are not understanding or not really liking it, because it's like truth right in your face. What spiritual narcissism is, what spiritual ego is, what spiritual materialism is. I think that a lot of people didn't really like that video.
Yeah. They like the sensationalized topics. They like the things that don't really grow them, the empty type topics. And sometimes I found that it's not necessarily like the people don't like it. It's more that the platform will not spread that video, intentionally
Right.
withhold it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, you can always tell where someone is in their development when they're not open to hearing from a different point of view, seeing a different perspective. I'm always like, because people will tell me like, "Oh, you probably already know." Emmy, I don't know anything. Tell me anyways. Whatever you
Yeah,
think I know, tell me anyways. I promise you, you'll teach me something new. You know,
yeah,
it's
we
this thing of
always do.
let's learn together.
Yeah, like we're all three learning right now. You know what I mean? We're
Mhm.
always learning, always. If you're open to that, and I am, like everything, you know, um, just learning everything, and being able to just get on here with you too. It's been so amazing, and very, I pick up things very quickly about people. It's part of. Oh, I mean, we were talking about empaths the other day,
Mhm.
and how it's by trauma.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that, and I just wanted to express that I'm definitely an empath. I've had a lot of trauma, and I understand that. So I pick up on people's vibes, just the way they speak, even in text, right? Like one word, I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" Nothing. Yes, there is. I like, So I pick up on everybody's the way they sit and their demeanor and just everything. I know, like, it's amazing how that trauma has helped that, because that actually helps with my clients and my healing, because I can pick up things that they may not even be even connected to, or they have suppressed. Do you get that too? I know that you're an empath. I know
Yeah.
actually both of you are. I can
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was drawn to ocean as well. There was a lot of resonance there because we've had, I guess, would you say we've had similar traumas, or is it just the similar mindsets, or both?
We have similar mindsets, and I think we've had some similar traumas too. Yeah,
Yeah,
So you
definitely.
guys are both empaths, right?
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I
You-
am.
yes.
Yeah.
I can't hide that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't. Well, you can't hide that from energy healers,
Yeah.
or you know, or people who can pick up other empaths. How about that? You can't
Yes.
really hide that. I can tell a real empath, a real empath. And then you have, all your clairs, and they come along as you start to heal. Like I'm very gifted in knowing and feeling, you know. And now it's audio, which is another thing that I wanted to tell you,
Nice. Since I worked
that
on
you
you.
unlocked for me, because I was never an audio uh, hearing. It's always been um, I'm clairsentient, which is like an empath feeling, and a cognizance, um, which is just stuff. I'm hearing, but it's not. Oh, Ocean, we were talking about the ancestor things. This actually comes around with this actually. As far as the ancestors, I'm talking about my Reiki ancestors and ascendant masters that has come before me and my connection to them. I have no longer have a connection to them. I can't hear them, or I never was able to hear them. I can't feel them anymore. So they're not there. I don't know what happened to them. They're gone.
Mm.
They don't like my energy.
They don't like the energy that you've connected me to. So, and
Yeah.
that's fine because that means that I can actually. This is all so beautiful for me because
Mm.
I'm going to be able to help so many people. It's like it's just so weird, but audio. I can hear things. I'm literally um I can't tell if it's not masculine or feminine energy. It doesn't come out like that. I don't know if do you understand that? I don't know how to else explain that. That it's not a male or a female that's speaking to me.
Can you
So
tell what they're saying?
yes, but it's and it's getting more and more every day. So you unlocked my audio clear, my what is it called? Clear audience. Um, yes, but it's not totally clear. Like how to explain it.
I hope it's not
Because
Marlene.
it's so very new for me, and I'm just trying to like we have stuff going on in our head, right? Like
Mhm.
chit chat all the time, right? And I suffer from anxiety too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I'm trying to like now my anxiety has lessened, but then like it's not. There's a lot of back and forth with some things these last 2 days because I'm trying to really connect that it's not even a voice, it's a voice. But when I get to know a little bit more, I can probably tell you later because I can't really describe it to you. It's really hard. But I think it's the universe. I think that I have now, which leads me to the question that you had, Ocean, is that I had what you call handlers. Those were my handlers. The universe, the universal life force energy came through ancestors and ascendant masters and ancestors here, then onto me, right? So
Mm.
it had to go through all of those things. Well, it's not anymore. It's literally coming to me only. I don't have to go through any handlers. Or if there is, I haven't met them yet. So I haven't met anybody new. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they're gonna come. I'm not sure. I'm inviting, you know,
Mhm.
but I feel that there is no interruption now.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense because there's always an interruption, just like a rumor, how it starts to be the truth and then as it starts to come down, right? As
Yeah.
that would be gossip or rumor,
Mhm.
it changes, right? So with the
Yeah.
frequency, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
Because if it has to go through this person and this person and this person and
Mm.
this and so on, by the time it gets to you, you're getting that much,
That's
Yeah.
what.
right?
Wow.
Because they're taking their cut. With each layer that it passes through, they take a cut of
Right.
that energy. They're taxing it and taxing it and taxing it. So a
Yep,
large
exactly.
bulk of your true power is being consumed by other beings,
Yep,
you know?
that's exactly true. I totally agree with that. And the
Mm.
thing is, I still was able to help people heal with that tiny energy, with that tiny energy. I am so excited because this energy is way bigger. I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you, this is a
Mm.
whole different feeling.
Yeah.
I love
Beautiful. It's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I
It's
love it.
what like way more powerful. Like I got goosebumps right now. Look at literally
Woo!
because
Oh,
it literally is so much more powerful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of this. And I don't think it has to come down. Even if it comes down into just you then me, Emmy, that's still only one person.
Oh,
It's
no.
not like
I'm not
hundreds.
a no, it will not filter through me. You are hardwired back into creation. No, no, no.
Okay.
It's all yours, girl. It's all yours.
I
Yeah.
like when you
Yeah.
said you feel like you don't need a middleman because you don't. You don't need a middleman. And, it's not a knock to anybody's religion, anybody's spiritual path, anybody's healing modality. But we were created the way we were, I believe, for a reason. We are all, we, we have this. We have what we need. Like we don't need a middleman or a middlewoman or a middle being to get to our divinity, to get to the most. So I love it. And I want to ask you something else too, but before I do, Gaze made a comment that kind of stuck with me. She says, "Good question, Ocean. I feel the angels and ancestors are taking a back seat, making us think real hard. And that is so profound to me. I'm not talking about your genuine loved ones that are in the unseen realms. I'm not talking about them. But I do think that it's very much possible that those things that you didn't need, those things that were taking from you instead of giving to you, instead of helping you in the way that you really deserve to be helped, are no longer there to intercept your process. And I feel that the ones that are genuinely there to help you along your process, this is just my perception, going back to what Gay said, sometimes even those that are, they're still there, but it's like kind of how your parent may watch you and you kind of got to, fall and learn your own process, not falling so hard to where they're not there, they're not going to help you, but like we all have to learn, right? Even as parents of a grown adult, sometimes we have to learn when to step back, right? And maybe that's something like still everything that's supposed to be there is there, but they're allowing you possibly to see what you're made of, you know?
They're on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they're not interfering. They're not handling anymore. They're like what Gay said is they're just taking a back. Like I feel like I'm not connected to my guides. Now, I already mentioned that I'm not connected to my ancestors and um, my ascendant masters through Reiki, but I also don't have my guides and my angels right now. I don't know where they went, and that is just weird that she brought that up. I'm wondering if Gaze picked that up because I'm wondering where, like, I was talking to a student of mine, and she's like, "No, they're still there." I'm like, "Okay, but
Yeah.
why aren't they not speaking to me?" So what? I don't know. That's where the questions come in. Like, where did they go? Why aren't they like there? Do I really need them anymore? I don't want to say that, but do I need them anymore? I mean, this is a question for you. Emmie. Do I? Do we?
Yes, they're your emotional support system. They help cheer you on. They help kind of guide you in a very latent manner. Like they're not supposed to be your driver. They're not supposed to be out front and center. This is your show.
Right.
They're the supporting cast. If you ever see me on a live stream and I'm like, stop talking to me. That's the one guy that is allowed to talk to me. That's the only one that I will hear. All
Is that the
others,
Madeline?
I'm sorry.
Who's the what's is her name? Starts with an M or something?
Oh, Marlene is not a guide.
Oh,
She's an interloper that just my guide seems to protect her and let her talk nonstop to me. I'm hoping she's not talking to you, girl, because you flick her in the nose if she won't stop. Just
okay.
like that. But yeah, no, my guides, I thought I had none for the longest time. And it's just in the past several years that people have been allowed to see that I actually have quite a few guides and guardians. And I don't sense them because I'm supposed to be in control of this life. I'm supposed to make decisions. And in making those decisions and the causation and effect, I learn about the gravity of my power that I can choose to manifest or create negativity and struggle for myself, or I could choose the opposite. So they're still there. The work that I do, I cannot take anything from you that was given to you by that God source energy. I'm
Right.
not allowed to do that. No one is allowed to do that. No one is allowed to do that. You know, um, these people who will, they'll say they'll be able to give you powers, not unless that's already given to you by that energy.
Yeah.
I can't create things that weren't there to begin with, you know. Um I just noticed someone was like, "But didn't you turn off someone's abilities?" Yes, laws of Laws of engagement, the rules of engagement, you engage me, I have the right to negate your efforts. And if that means turning off your abilities, I absolutely will. The other option is I take my fist and I ram it through your entire morphogenetic template and destroy you. So I just turn it off. Right? I mean, that's the lesser of the two. I mean, I feel like that's a nicer option.
So what
So
would I have a question? What would be the reason why you would turn off somebody's gifts?
if they're consistently trying to attack me while I'm live streaming and they have the option of leaving, and I've told them, stop, I know what you're doing, stop it.
Right.
And they won't stop. A lot of people do some really crazy things just because they're behind a screen and they think I won't know who it is. They
Right.
think they can hide. They don't take into consideration that I'm actually much more sensitive and more skilled than what I let on publicly. Because again, I'm here to serve. I'm not here to be like, hey, look what I can do. So
Right.
it's like, okay, I'm turning off your abilities. That's it. Now you got to book a session with me to turn it back on.
Right. Uh, I was
you know?
going to be like, remember I was talking about, you just hit on a really good subject because and I've experienced this with a lot of students and clients, is that they get into that ego. Remember I was saying that I'm doing a 12 stage ascension, and number 6 is ego. Spiritual narcissism, spiritual materialism. When you are starting to ascend, or when you are ascending, and you go through the stages, you get this ego. And I have noticed that with so many people. And I think that that's where a lot of people just stop. They can't get past that. One of my clients, she became like, she's God. Like literally, she thought that she's God. And I'm just like, how did this even happen? Like, I don't even know. Like, I helped, and one of the things, and I do make this very clear to everyone, I'm just a conduit.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, I can manipulate energy, but I'm just a conduit, but I do have good morals and values. I helped her with her trauma. I helped her with her childhood stuff. I helped her with her chakras. She became a Reiki master teacher. And then all of a sudden, she thinks that she's God. And she thinks that she has all these gifts. I'm like, what the heck happened? What did I do? Well, and then I remind myself, well, so many things could have happened. Remember, we do still have free choice, free will, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're no longer, we don't speak. I blocked her because it became that bad. She's trying to tell me who I am and what I need. I'm like, well, this has only been a year that we've been working together. Like, you have no previous knowledge. I don't really understand. So as you mentioned before when we were all talking, is that people just come on and be like, they try to tell you this, and this about who we are and what we've experienced, and we can't be feeling these things.
Yeah.
Spiritual or even just ego is such an issue. I wish we could just get rid of that. But I know it's there for a reason. I know what it's there. But the problem I feel with it is that we get so sucked into it. It's there for our protection. It's there for our safety. It's there for our survival. I understand that. However, it should just stay that way. Just
Right.
those, you don't have to like fully engage with your ego, you know, and allow it to run your whole entire life, because that's what all these people, as we talked about, all these people on social media, they're in ego, they're in spiritual, especially the spiritual people. They're
Yeah.
harming people with that. I wish there was some other way, but they have to learn their lesson as well. And that's where
So
they stay at that number 6. They're not going to ascend until you pretty much are outside your ego and start being friends and not allowing your ego to take the controls, you know?
I was told something while you were explaining about that client, former friend. Um, the that you helped to release, and it's in no way your fault, but the traumas that you helped to release were actually serving as a fork wall that prevented the consumption of her by parasitic things. That's why she thinks she's God now. It's a lot of thought and something by parasites. Now, with the energy that you're harnessing, your true energy now, you're gonna attract a lot of those people.
Really? Why is that?
Because moths to a flame.
You're cutting out. I can't hear you.
Moths to a flame.
Right. Right.
Because your light is so much brighter since it's not being, taxed so heavily by all these different layers and levels before it reaches you. So be very careful. You're going to draw a lot of that. I did, when I asked you if you wanted to come on yesterday, I did say that there was other work that I was being asked to do to you or for you. Are you okay with me doing that now?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
I wasn't sure what the work was going to be, but now I understand it's because you're going to draw so much of the more distorted, darker beings run by ego. So you're going to need to have a bit of a shield and a cloak and some armor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and, okay, I don't have earbuds here. I'm going to go ahead and play some music for us. And with that, I just want you to breathe very deep and very slow.
Okay.
Let me see. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Mm.
Hey, do you have a dragon as one of your guides? Like literally, a dragon came up in this.
That's my counterpart.
Oh,
Yeah. He remembers you. You've apparently lived quite a few lives with both of us.
really?
Hmm.
That's weird. That, like
Yeah.
I don't deal with any dragons that haven't came to me yet in my life. This lifetime that I know. But once you started doing that, I That sounds so weird, but the dragon, I'm like, I think it's hers, not mine.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I feel really good right now, like much more calmer. And I feel like there's like liquid flowing through me. Do you know what that is?
Yes, it's hydroplasma mixed with chrism coming from your pineal.
You could explain a
So
little bit.
the energy. She's so sensitive to energy. I mean, you said it, Michelle, but especially knowing a little something about K33CP, it's just so beautiful to experience this and to see you express what you're feeling and to know what you're talking about is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Well,
definitely a
that's.
treat.
I mean, how often do you get that? Like, I say, hey, I have water, liquid of some kind running through my system.
Yeah.
So what is that? What's that? What is that doing?
It's liquid light. So it's a plasma type thing, and it serves as basically like an etheric stem cell. It goes to any areas where voids exist and it will fill that void so you no longer feel the void. You still feel the void?
No,
And
I don't.
then your
It's completing. I can feel it. It's almost done, actually.
mhm,
Um, it literally is almost done, but no, I don't feel that void anymore.
yeah,
Yeah, it's almost done. It's weird.
yeah. And then
But
the chrism ties into the Christ consciousness. You
yes,
might feel the back of your head start to tingle and pulsate.
yeah, it is. I was going to tell you
Michelle,
all the things it is.
usually will.
But
I don't care what she's talking about. When she says might, yeah, you're going to.
I just
So funny. And you know what, Michelle, let me bust her out real quick. Because sometimes she'd be like, you know, I'm thinking probably, girl, stop the cat. You know, good and well. That,
I don't want
you
to
know, but I had to
communicate.
bust her out real quick.
I sometimes I will say that just because, it's like I don't know. I get the sense that this might be your experience, but I can't say for sure. And I don't want it to program you into believing you're
right,
experiencing something you're not, right?
right. And I agree with you. I do the same thing with my clients.
Yeah.
You know, I say, well, tell me how you're feeling. What's going on? How do you feel? You know, and then you know, they exactly the things that I've done or the things that they're supposed to be. Or there's always new things that come up too. But I've never like when I've done healing, I have like a sob that I help when I pull cords from people,
Mhm.
energetic cords. So I have a sob. This is so much similar to that, but different color. But this is so much similar to that. But with those holes that I'm pulling cords from, right? And I actually have, and this is the only time that I work with Archangel Michael, is when I'm pulling cords. And when all those cords are gone, we have to feel those things in with something. So the universe and I came up with this salve, and it literally liquefies and goes into the holes so they can actually feel whole again. You know, because when you pull that cord, my gosh, you can feel that cord. You can feel that disconnection from someone, right? And which is pretty awesome because these people actually try to come back in that person's life. They're like, well, hey, you know, and like I always tell my clients that when we're doing that, if you don't want them back in your life, do not speak to them because you're going to automatically, energetically, you know, connect to them again. But that sob is so much of similar to what I'm feeling here, but it's not the same, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
liquid.
God. This has me so excited because that right there, the fact that you are extracting the cord, like this is the only time I work with Michael. Michael was the one that taught me how to, I call it hydropacking the void, where you take that salve that you were talking about, that's hydroplasma. The reason it
Yeah.
feels different is because I reach higher frequencies.
Okay.
That's the only difference. Yeah. And he was the one that told me about that. So it's like you're absolutely validating because sometimes I wonder, do people think I'm just making this up? Because I'm like, no, Michael doesn't cut cords. He told me like, and then you have to hydropack it because you're gonna leave the hole there.
Right.
you know. Hmm.
It is that. Yeah, I was taught the same way. Yeah. And I guess maybe we all get different ones, right? So like different sobs or different liquids, right? As
Yes.
your vibration comes up. I don't know. Mine's pretty. I like my stuff. It's like so pretty. And actually sometimes um, some of my students and my clients can see a little bit of it. So would you like me to share what it looks like?
Yeah, it looks beautiful to me. It looks like unicorn,
It
unicorn
is like a
blue.
unicorn. It
It's
Oh my
magical.
gosh, it is. Like it really is. It's an opalescent unicornish. You know how unicorns they have all these not they're they're opalescent color really. It is an
Yeah.
opalescent with like little stars. It's like
Yeah.
it's like little stars in it. That's the solve that I was taught to use to fill in those holes from those cord pulling. It- um, I don't exactly know what the color of this is, but I can feel that. I can feel that it's liquid, and I can feel that it's just running through my body, and it feels good. And it feels there's no negativity there. There is no. It's all. It's actually beautiful. It's like it's healing too. By the way, it's
Yeah.
I can feel that it's just running through my body. Is that going to continue? Will that continue? Because it's
Yeah.
completed, but it's like circulating now.
It's still looking for the nuanced areas that need repair.
Okay,
So first it will target the areas that are in urgent need of repair, urgent need of assistance and support. And then once it's done with that, anything in excess will look for other areas. And then when there's nothing else to be found, it will just purge right out of your system.
okay.
Yeah.
Purge. You like purge?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
She's just like, not again, not another purge.
please, not again.
I'm being told to ask you if you want to see what my salve looks like.
I'm sorry.
I'm being told to ask you if you want to see what my salve looks like.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. Okay.
Of
So
course.
close your eyes and you'll be shown the visual.
I really cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Let me move up my volume a little bit because I turned it down because I'm in a house
Oh.
with other people. So, um, okay. Let me see. Can't see anything.
Oh, you can't. Oh, I wasn't sending anything yet. I thought you were still
Okay, I was
adjusting.
like, well, holy crap, because I'm like, I'm waiting for this. I'm like, please let me see.
Oh,
I'm like,
let me send the visual now.
okay, I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm sorry. There's so much light around you. Oh, I can see you. Are we freely to talk on here? No, it's like on TikTok. You
Yeah, you can.
can't. I there's two parts that I see. Your light source part, um, your light family, and then I see there's another part. It's blue. Um, Also, sorry, I only take what I can take in, but I can also see your relatives, by the way. um, in your light family. Um, it goes, it goes, give me 1 second. You mind?
No, I don't mind.
It goes very, very, you have a very long family light line. I don't know what to call it. I don't have the words. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't. But it goes, your light family goes way back. And I don't know, can I get the name? It's very old. It's one of the oldest, by the way. Sorry. Um, very loving, very beautiful. What's the blue, though? What is the blue?
That's my counterpart.
It is the counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing what exactly? Can you explain?
That is a component of creation that was cleaved at the same time as me.
Okay.
So we're very comparable in energy and very complementary to each other's code. So we basically, our higher selves work as a bonded pair.
That would be your. Would that be considered a twin flame?
Oh, she said the T word. Yeah, no, it's a twin ray. It's a step higher than a twin flame. It's a twin ray.
A twin ray, right? Is that why it's blue? It comes from blue ray.
We're both filtered through Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, your ancestors. You know, they've told you your ancestry, right? You know how far you go back, right? Really, really far.
Yeah.
I think that's why you're able to do what you do.
Yeah. My memories extend back to a time with no form.
Yeah, maybe that explains why it became like because it. So, I don't have words. So like, this is all like our connection is so awesome right this second. I don't even want to let it go. But um, light form into I can't. It's not a void. It's not nothing. It's still something. But it becomes. I don't have a word for it. So whatever. I'm not sure what it would call it because I've never experienced it. I've never experienced this before. So just so you know, I've not experienced somebody's ancestry, their where they came from, all the way, way back, really far.
The
It's kind of
name,
amazing. Hmm.
the reason you can't think of the name is it comes from a time before words were spoken
Right,
from any language. It's something you feel, you know it. I come
right,
from here. This is my tribe.
right.
You just that's all. You know that's how you identify.
Yeah, that's that's amazing. I love you, Emmy. I love you. I use this when I tell you that. I just want to. I don't know. You need to know that.
That's so sweet.
Our souls have known each other for quite some time.
Yes, they have for sure.
The reason you saw the dragon, he gave you back your armor. You have
So
some
that's
thick
to help
armor.
protect myself, right?
Yes.
Ah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. That's so cool.
It's multiple layers of armor.
The dragon was cool, dude. Like it was really cool. I was like, that's gotta be hers. Because I don't have a dragon, so I was like, well, not that I know of, anyways, right? So I'm like, that's gotta be hers. Okay, just let it be done and see what's gonna happen. I was excited. I was trying not to be like show excitement because I want like inside I was like, this is so awesome and all the things that I'm feeling and the liquid and the dragon and I'm like, wow, this is it's still flowing. It's gonna like last for a while. Like I can feel it flowing through everything, like through my fascia, my muscles, like into my meridians. It's supposed to go into my meridians too, right? Because it's
Yes.
going into my meridians.
Yeah. It's going through everything, all your systems.
Everything, yeah. It
Yeah.
is. It's amazing.
Do you feel a pressure in your chest?
I do feel a little bit, yeah. I do.
Yeah. That pressure, there's an energetic structure in your chest that's going active right now. It's a very old structure. Yeah, it's a power structure.
A power structure. So what did you do to me, Emmy?
Well, we gave you back your armor.
Yeah.
And I was shown quite a few different scenes of times that we have been in the same space together during lifetimes. It's quite a few galactic, mostly off planetary.
Off planet,
Um,
yeah. I was just gonna tell you, it's off planet. It's when we're light, when it's just our souls.
yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Um,
Because I don't think I've ever experienced that with anybody else. Like
really?
I remember past lifetimes as people. Like for instance, I was a witch that was burned in the 14th century, right? And and there was somebody that one of my exes was in there, so we actually shared one lifetime together.
Yeah.
I know 11 of my lifetimes, but I don't know. I've never experienced my soul, my light soul lifetime.
Mm.
It's totally different. It's like totally different, and that's why I was like, yeah, I agree. It was on a more of a soul light level that we've shared,
Yeah.
not a human form. Well, I guess we can say that, right? Can we say
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
not human form?
I think we've also had some human forms, more of the off planet, galactic, celestial, but a couple
Yeah,
human. Yeah.
definitely. So, like, isn't this amazing that what you're doing, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
so now this is like not that you need validation, Emmy, because you know your shit. So not that you need validation, but for everybody else, like you just did all this, and I'm telling you as you do it, or even close to as you do it, what's going on with me, and it's happening almost at the same time. That's
Yeah.
amazing to me, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I do need the validation because half the time I'm like, I'm totally just very imaginative. I just have
Well,
a really robust imagination, is what it is.
yeah, that's our Pisces in us, right? We have an imagination and visualization. That's why we visualize very well,
Yeah.
Which that's why we can create so many things, especially on an energetic level, because imagination, visualization helps us connect, you know. It's that.
Wow. Do you mind if I share something?
Sure, definitely.
Um, I've never had this memory before, but it's for some reason being given back to me to explore. Um, you and I were part of the first attempt to rectify the hybridization program on Earth.
Whoa.
That's why you feel like you haven't been on Earth too many times. Yes, you have. You
Mm.
have, but you block it off because a lot of your etheric genome is spread through a large portion of humanity.
Right.
Ooh,
Well, yeah,
you're a founder too.
really.
Mhm.
She said, mm-hmm. So matter of factly.
It's
No,
not just me no more. It's not just I'm like, that's right. We both crazy. We both crazy.
crazy.
Beautiful.
But yeah, that's
I would
very
never think that you're
fascinating.
crazy. Neither of you. I don't find, anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
And you already know that I believe in that stuff. You already know that I believe in our light souls. You know that I believe in our ancestry. You know, I do know a couple things that there is some Palladian, I, um, some Palladian, other people say some other things, like um, other star seeds or other, I don't know what the proper term is, aliens, species, um, I like to call just life forms. Um, but I know that I actually connected to the Palladians, but I feel like I've always felt like I'm further along. Palladians are fairly new. Not new because they're like really old, like 30 million, right? But fairly new, compared to the other light forms, light forms. I've always felt that mine, like it didn't begin there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've always thought that I just began with the Palladians and that's where my ancestry came from. But then as I grew in my energy work, I'm like, I know that I was further along. Maybe I have mixed in there or mixed hybrid somewhere down the line, right?
Mm.
But I felt like I was further than the Palladians. I didn't think that I actually, they're not my start of my ancestry. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
No, you resonate with the Pleiadians because they were your primary filtering before you entered into this life. But they're not your point of origination.
That's the word I was looking for. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're rather your soul is rather old as well. Like when I say old, I'm talking about before maybe the feel is like you existed before three-fourths of creation were even thought of.
Um,
Yeah.
it's crazy. How do we go about finding more answers to this?
There's a lot of different ways. It's a whole rabbit hole that,
It
now
is.
see, you done did it connecting with me.
Yeah.
You done did it
I
because
know.
randomly, I will just randomly reach out and be like, "Girl, do you remember that one war?" And the person will be like, "What war?" "Well, I don't know, but we almost died." And then I'll
I
start
see you
describing
doing that
things,
for
you
sure.
know? Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Actually, I've done that with one of my friends. I'm like, do you remember? I remember some things, like with people that I have encountered in this lifetime. So I understand what you're saying. You're like, do you remember that war? Do you remember when? And they're like, no, Michelle, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I do that quite a bit. I know Ocean has gotten used to it, right? Like,
Yes.
girl. The more R's in the word girl,
Girl. And
she
the good
immediately
girl.
it's and then my emoji like,
Yes. Like her
"Don't
too.
tell nobody." But I heard. It's all like aliens in past life. I mean, there's no one to gossip about in this life. Okay, but it's all
It's
they're
let's
beautiful.
like,
gossip about
Michelle.
our
"Mhm,
life or
Marlene,
as
you know what she
aliens,
said?"
right? That's funny. Remember that war? That is funny. That's crazy.
This
What
Not
if
is
crazy.
it's all a ploy? What if this is all a ploy? What if you guys encountered each other so Marlene would have somebody else to talk to? I'm sorry, Amy, I had to
I don't
do
want to talk to Marlene because you don't seem to like her.
it.
I'm gonna be nice. Marlene is a lovely lady.
Uh
She's
huh.
lovely. Um,
Sorry, Marlene.
And
My bad, Marlene. My bad.
she's not bad. She's just persistent.
persistent. Yeah.
Persistent. She's been persistent. I think it's coming on a year already, right? That's about a year
It has been
almost.
a year since she bust on here talking about Cody, right? And
Mhm.
you have people in the audience that were like, "Well, I know a Cody, I know a Cody," and she said something about Daniel. People like, "Well, I know a Daniel, I have a brother." So it's like
No, girl, you missing the most important part. This disembodied voice randomly comes onto the live stream with me. I'm like, who is you? Why are you here? I'm not, I don't listen to people. Why am I hearing you? And Michael is protecting her from me
Yeah.
because you enter into my field uninvited, there's gonna be a rage involved.
Yeah.
And he's shielding her. And next thing you know, she's like, can you sing happy birthday to my son? And I'm like, what is this? So I sing happy birthday, hoping she'll go away. And she's like,
More
no,
blues.
do it with more blues. How do you sing happy birthday with more
Like,
blues?
who does that? Who even on earth? Who does that,
That's
Marlene?
right.
So, that's how it's been for the past year. In the
Mhm.
shower, in the bathroom, right before I'm gonna go to bed, right when I wake up. It's just nonstop.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I'll wake up like right when my eyes open and I'll hear, so, while you were sleeping, I was considering a few things. Oh my God, woman.
Marlene, Marlene.
And that's why I'm on TikTok. I'm like, drown her out, drown her out. Oh, look at that puppy kitten, just drown her out. Yeah.
I'm looking for Marlene by the end of 2022. Marlene just might have her own YouTube channel on TikTok, y'all. Marlene is just Marlene.
Maybe Michelle can create a channel, her and Marlene.
Oh, Michelle, are you interested? I know Emmy would love that.
Oh, no, not right
She's
now.
like,
I don't want people.
Marlene says that you are not as chill as you appear on the surface. She does not want to tangle with you.
that's hilarious.
That's
Too much.
probably the truth, since I am a martial artist and
Yeah.
I know how to deal with knives and stuff like that.
Marlene, how you be trying to try with me? Because I'm not as chill as I look, Marlene. I'm not as chill as I come off. I'm very chill, Marlene, but how come you try?
Oh, girl, because she knows you will come straight to me and be in my ear too.
That makes sense.
That's why. That's why. That's why she tries you all the
Oh
time.
my God.
This was an amazing talk. I just noticed the time. We are late for the after party.
Oh yeah.
Michelle, will you be able to join us? I can get you the Zoom link. We chat with our private folks from the Soul Sanctuary Love. We have a private ministry area, and we invite our ministry people to come and join us every week after we have our podcast, and we just kind of talk deeper in whatever the topic was for that week. We just go as deep as they want to go. If you guys want to join us and you're not yet part of the Soul Sanctuary Love, go check it out. Just go to www.soulsanctuary.love. You can still sign up. That recurring contribution goes towards supporting our nonprofit ministry. If you are in the United States, that recurring contribution can count as a nonprofit donation. Just keep your receipt for your tax time. So this was such an amazing chat with you, Michelle. You have no idea. Oh my
Yeah,
God. This was
it's
fun.
it's been awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ocean. I appreciate it. I
Um, Really quick, do you have any information on your TikTok for people to donate to help you get back up on your feet?
Yeah, it's actually in my link. If you go to my TikTok, there's hold on. Let me
Pen site?
explain.
Is that what it is?
So
Okay, I found it.
if you go to my TikTok on my page, there is a link in there that says pensite.com x Michelle Rossfeld. You click on that, it takes you to this page, and right off it says GoFundMe. So, and you can help me get back to my dreams. So,
Definitely.
are, may I ask you something before we leave? You're doing a sanctuary. Are you planning on going off grid?
It's an eco village. It We're hoping that it has a capacity to go off grid. That's not the primary goal. The
Mhm.
primary goal is to help people reconnect with the land, grow their own food, become so independent that they're empowered in their life no matter what happens to the world. We're good.
You're not going to believe this. If you go to my GoFundMe just to look at what I wrote in there,
Uh-huh.
I want to go off grid, have vegetation, learn how to live off the land. I'm not lying. You can go right now. Go to my GoFundMe. It tells
I'm
you
on it.
there's work for my dreams. I want to have land, buy land. This is crazy. I want to, it really is.
No, I
I
just
want to
read
buy
it.
land, help people heal, live
Right.
up, have trees of berries and the ecosystem, everything that you just said. I want that too. That's what my dreams are for. This is what my goal was before I got into the accident, before I got, you know, all that. But yeah, this is that's not
Mm.
a
Yeah.
coincidence.
No, it's
But
not.
really,
Guess
that's
what
really
though?
weird.
We've already secured 35 acres.
Really. Okay. Can I be a part of it?
I'd love for you to.
This has
Yeah.
been awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, Michael. Mm. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
This
Thank
is
you,
so
dragon. What is
beautiful.
the name of your dragon? What is the name of your dragon?
Archive.
Okay, cool. I like that name. I really like it. I love it. Yeah. Like I'm just feeling like this is not going to be the last time that I see this dragon.
Probably not.
I know this is not my time. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see everyone over at the Soul Sanctuary. Love.